I just installed a, let's see, kind of dirty now, but this little kit on the back of the alternator, it makes it so it basically keeps the charge where it needs to be. It says 14.2, but I'm actually getting a little less, but I'm still in the green. But put that in there, and I don't have to have a voltage regulator or a computer or anything. I just happened to stumble upon it online, and I'm getting 13.7 forward idle. When I give it gas, it's about 13.9, almost 14. That worked out pretty good. Still got the intake, and I gotta figure out how to rotate this and figure out what I'm gonna do with that. And maybe then I have to actually side mount this to clear that. So I don't know, but that's gotta rotate up and then go across to there. I'm not gonna have an intercooler right now. I have a little bit of space right in here, so if I had some kind of miniature intercooler I could run in there in the future, maybe something like that. I don't really know, but that's another issue I got worked out. The alternator does charge. That worked out good. So I got to get an overflow. That overflow will just sit there and eventually run out of water and probably overheat. So I got to do that, and then see what's going to happen from there. I got to weld this piece too. I forgot. There's a little rod here that's going to hold the body. You can hear it rattling. So when I weld it, it'll be solid, but it's going to mess up the paint where I weld it. But luckily, the fender flare will be right over that. So I'll just weld it to a sand, a light sand, and touch up. Being flat, it should just bond right up, match. But let's turn on the lights and see what kind of charge I get with that. So this right here would be like the hardest pull. Well, let's see, I think I turned on the fog lights. Yeah, I did. Okay, so this would be the hardest pull right here. Still 13.71, so that's pretty good. And that alternator, when I first got this thing going, I thought I could wire it like I do a Jeep, like a Willis Jeep. And I usually just buy a one-wire GM alternator and just wire it like that. And when I did that, it just would charge at idle. It'd be 14.5, and if I gave it any gas, it would just get way above that. So I realized at that point it needs some kind of voltage regulator. I don't know why they designed it like that. I guess it's just the way they did it on these vehicles. To most people, a 98 would be, you know, old. I mean, yeah, old. But this is what I do for a living right there. That's 40s. So I'm used to old stuff. You know, this is new technology for me. Even though it's still 98, it's pretty dang old, I guess, in terms of normal vehicle. But yeah, I got the seat bottom, and I got my carpet and stuff all in the back. Got to put the center console in where it matches the shifter. I think I'm going to take the whole hardtop off, and I think I'm going to actually bedline the inside. I think it would just make it more uniform, and plus it's just so stained up. But I don't see if the heat works. Actually, I have not tried that yet. Okay, so we got air flowing. Let's see. So let me turn this down. Let's see if we get heat. Oh yeah, we got heat. That's awesome. So all that stuff works. That's just all body controlled stuff. The engine control module that I took out has no effect on this temperature situation here. I'm gonna turn it back to cold, make sure it goes back to cold. Yep, went right back to cold. So that's cool. And those vents feel good, even though it's just regular air. No AC yet. So that's sway bar disconnect, and this Jeep didn't even have that, but I don't really know why that's blinking. I just need to get in there and delete it, I guess. And then all this crap right here, you got brake, which I believe is going to be the e-brake. Since it's not all hooked up, it's probably just whacking out. Seat belt, that's just because I'm sitting in it with no seat belt. Airbag light, I know this thing right here is no good. There's a little module type thing inside here that makes it so all these controls go through the steering wheel, even though it turns, where it don't chew up any wires or anything. You know what I mean? It's like these these copper washers, and there's a prong that sits on that washer, and as you turn, it just slides around that washer, so it always has a contact, so, sort of like that. Now this one may not be made exactly like that. It may be made more modern with some kind of computer chip or something. But ABS, that light will be on forever. So my fix for ABS is probably gonna go ahead and just turn that off, which I have a programmer that can turn all that stuff off. This is my only gauge that actually operates at the current. That's the only one I wired up. These two I have not wired up yet, but I really, really want to get them going where I don't have to have separate. I am gonna have a let's see, obviously a temp gauge, because that's just such a must-have. I'm gonna have a pillar. There's two pillars that are coming in, and it's gonna be temp and voltage, and then I'm gonna have this one thing that's gonna sit about here that's gonna show me EGT. That way I have my gauges for now, and then whenever I get this operating, if I ever get it operating, I'll take the EGT gauge and put it up in the pillar. That way I don't have something sitting on the dash here. So I'm gonna have to probably mount it with glue, kind of like whatever this material is here from the last person. Probably mount it with glue, that way it don't screw down and jack all this up. That way I can just take it off and clean it. But yeah, I'm excited to see. That battery light's on probably because the computer's missing. I didn't put the PCM in the Jeep because I didn't want to deal with all the extra wires, and I really don't need it. So, you know, I'm just getting rid of the junk that I don't need. Radio didn't work, so I just took it out, and I just need to get a new radio, plug it in. I'm hoping after I plug it in, everything will just work. I don't know for sure, but I know the radio, the top, I guess, I don't know what happened, but water got in it somehow or something, and excuse me, and the radio just didn't work. So I'm hoping that by doing that, it's gonna just, everything's gonna work after that. But windows and all that stuff, got all that stuff. So, and then door locks. It may not do it while I'm in it. Yeah, it's one of those safety things because I'm sitting in it. When I drive to a certain speed, which it'll never get to that if I don't get this working, it'll auto lock like that. But yeah, probably if I close the door too, it might would lock that way. Let's see. Do I have to poke a hole any worse than the seat? This one seat bottom's the bad one. All the rest of them are perfect, unless all this crap I got in here cut a new hole. Hopefully that didn't happen. Hey, 80 degrees. It's pretty cool, that works. Surprised it's actually 80 in here. Yeah, that's all it was. You can't do it with the door open for some reason. I don't really know why. Kind of neat all that stuff works. Like being that, you know, everything happened, you know what I mean? What's all been done to this thing. But yeah, that's the noise factor right there. Got to put my tail lights in. There they are right there. They're lit up right now. I just got to run the wires. They're probably about 1.5 feet, 2 foot too long. This wave you see here, that's where I left the Dodge top on there. This is off of a Mega Cab. This is the Mega Cab bed, and I cut it 11.25 inch and squished it together, and then I cut the sides off of it, leaving this roll right here because I wanted it to match this roll when the top's off. But when I welded the 16 gauge flat steel to the side, you know, when you grind the weld that long, it's just gonna do this. So what my fix is for that, I'm gonna bedline this up to here, and I think that's gonna hide a good bit. But then I'm gonna put bed rail caps on it too. So I think it'll look real good after I do all that. And for this, there's a panel that actually can bolt in there, and you can buy all these different designs. So I'll probably do that. Rear bumper. Coming. Let's see. Never mind the chaotic mess. This is from doing all this stuff so fast. It's just stuff flew everywhere. It's like a bomb went off over here. But okay, so there's my rear bumper. I like the bumper, but it's way too wide. Again, I cut 11.25 out of the bed. This bumper was already too wide for this truck. I think it was maybe a Chevy bumper or something. But my goal is to fit it up nice and tight. I'm probably gonna have to cut like 1 inch across here and make it so this edge, and cut this edge out a little bit, make it so that edge kind of goes around the body. I want it to fit real close to the body though, like that close. So that way it just looks real uniform and like it should, I think. And obviously I gotta cut the middle out. When I do that, it'll come way in. I'm hoping I have enough room for a tag in this little gap. If I don't, I'll just figure it out. But But yeah, that's the rear bumper. Front bumper, I'm letting it run for a while because I want to charge that battery, because I've been cranking it without the battery. And it's interesting, there's only one battery in there. I only ran one battery. And I literally have been cranking and cranking and cranking on and off and turning it off. And this is the first time it's actually charged. I've been running the headlights, wiring it up. One battery does fine on the Cummins. But, you know, they put 2 batteries in there really, excuse me, for the grid heater. The grid heater pulls a lot of voltage. This one's been deleted. I live in Mississippi, way down in the south. It's just about always hot. It gets pretty cold during the winter sometimes, but I'll plug it up for that case. But every Cummins I've ever bought and sold and owned, whatever, I've deleted the grid heater. And the reason why is every grid heater that I've heard of, you know, it seems to work good, but there's that one story you hear that the grid heater got stuck on, they went inside, they didn't know, and it just burnt the whole vehicle down. That's terrifying to me. So I just went ahead and deleted it, and I'm not worried about it. And I get better airflow for it, I'm sure that way anyway. All right. So this is my front bumper. It looks like it's like bent and stuff, but it's actually not. It's just the way it's actually welded. It's just covered in grass. It's a winch bumper. It's pretty neat. I'm gonna change some things. I think some kind of mesh needs to go in this gap. It just looks weird to me, being all hollow. If I don't like it, I won't use it, I'll sell it. If I do like it, I'll roll with it for a while. And if I kind of like it, I'll roll with it for a while and I'll sell it and buy something else. But it's going to take a lot of effort to get this to go on there, because none of that is actually like a Jeep. So, you know, that's going to be fun right there. That's what came off of there. So that's going to be interesting trying to figure that out. And then wheel wells, I have the JK wheel wells, and I may try to get those in there because I don't want to run it without wheel wells. It just, I mean, road grime and all kind of crap be shooting all into the motor, the engine compartment. So I'm good with that. But I got to put the black felt, whatever material thing that goes under the hood. It'll kill some of the noise for my family that's going to ride with me. That'll work pretty well. I got that in the shop over there. I just haven't put it in. I got to buy those Christmas tree push pin things. I got a bed line this. I'm just going to tape off the body and just shoot it while it's on there. I don't want to have to deal with unbolting anything for any reason. Still have to pull the bed off and get all this grinding dust and everything else in there. Still got to bed line it. And then right there where that hole is, that's where the gooseneck's going to be, right there. So the brackets are already in there. All I got to do is go under the bottom, drill the 4 holes so I know where the holes are, and then get my big bit that matches and drill down, and then cut out a square and just drop in there. It's a hideaway ball kit, so that'll work pretty good. Then my toolbox, I bought a smaller toolbox right there. I got to sand it, and then I got to shoot some etching primer on it so it'll bind up real good. And then I'm going to bed line that. That way it matches and just kind of looks clean. There's nothing really chrome on here except for the mirrors on the side, and that's kind of how I'm going to keep it. There's a little piece that actually bolts right there. Used to it was I think it was some kind of light for the tag maybe. I don't know for sure. Yep, that's pretty much it.